day one, we are doing strength training. This is a type of workout that we are going to do twice a week. The type of workout will be the same on both days of strength training. We may do different exercises, but I want to show you how it's going to work and why we are doing this. If it is a strength training, that means that this is a day that we put tension on those muscle fibers. We are targeting the full body, so upper body and lower body push and pull movements. And is the day that we are looking for the heaviest type of workout. And instead of thinking about exercises, because when you are in the gym, you're saying, but how do I do deadlifts or squats or bench presses and whatnot? Think about movements as your main priority. And then we use exercises as strategies to fulfill those movements. So if you divide your body into upper body and lower body, you see that the upper part of the body has two planes of movement. You have something that is horizontal plane, where you can push things and where you can pull things. And you have a vertical plane of movement, where you can push things and pull things. Whenever you are pushing, you are working mostly the muscles of your chest, of your shoulders, and the back of the arm, the triceps. Whenever you are pulling, you are focusing mostly on your back, on your biceps, and on the back of your shoulders. And so here we have 4 movements: push and pull horizontal, push and pull vertical. And then for the lower body, you have 2 more movements. That is the front of the legs. That is when you are pushing something from the ground. So imagine that you are squatting down and you push yourself up and use your quads, all the front of the leg. And you have pull movements for the lower body. Imagine that you are picking up a heavy box from the floor and you are pulling it up. So then you use the hamstrings and the glutes, the parts of the back of your legs. So this gives us 6 movements. And at home, we want to progressively make those movements a bit more intense. But if you don't have weights on a weight machine as you have in the gym, you need to find ways to make them more challenging. So this is how it's going to work. I'll show you a list of exercises for each one of those movements. And your goal will be to start with an exercise that is challenging to do, but not too hard. That it can keep on going, and I'll give you more details later on how much we are going to do. But once that exercise becomes easier, because after a couple of weeks you're now stronger, then your goal will be to get the next most challenging exercise for the same movement. So then you are progressively making it more intense, making it harder for that movement. So this is what I mean. In this table right here, I have a column for push exercises, a column for pull exercises, horizontal, vertical in the upper body, and then legs. There's the lower body. So for these horizontal push movements, for example, we will start with the easiest exercise, that is the inclined push-up. And if you see that if that is too easy or becomes easy after a couple of days, you start to do the knee push-up. And when knee push-up becomes easy, then you're gonna move to full push-up, and then backpack push-up and banded push-up. At the end of this video, I'm gonna demonstrate all these exercises for you. For horizontal pull movements, we will start with a bottle row. And then when that becomes easy, we go for a bucket row and then a banded row if you have resistance bands, and a inverted row when you get really strong on your back muscles. For vertical of the upper body, push movements, we're going to start with a bottle press. It's an overhead press holding bottles. When that becomes very easy, you go for bag press. It's a little heavier. And then a banded press if you have resistance bands. And a pike push-up, and finally a handstand push-up if you're really strong on your shoulders. For vertical pull movements, our first option is a sliding pull down, when we're gonna use a towel as our main equipment. If you have resistance bands, this will be very useful here, because for vertical pull movements, you don't have too many options if you don't have a pull-up bar at home. But if you have resistance bands, then you have a really good option here. And in case you have a pull-up bar, those ones that you can put in the doorway, then it's going to be very handy. And if you're also very strong on your pull movements, you can finally do a pull-up. For leg exercises in terms of push movements, we are going to start with a bucket squat. And when that becomes easier, we're gonna move to a bucket lunge. When that becomes easy, we move to a split squat. And then finally, a backpack split squat. And for legs, in terms of pull movement, we will start with a hip thrust. And if that is easy, we do a single leg hip thrust. And when that becomes easy, we put a bottle on top of the waist, and now we do a bottle hip thrust. So this is how the strength training is going to work. I will demonstrate these exercises for you, and your process will be, number one, to pick a challenging exercise for each movement. So at the end, you're going to be ready with a list of 6 exercises, one for each type of movement, that is not too easy, not too hard, but it feels challenging for you. When we are doing the workout, the first thing that you do is that you will set a stopwatch. So instead of counting repetitions for this exercise, you time the amount of seconds that you can do it. Then you execute all these exercises very slowly to failure, and I'm gonna have a video that we can do this together and you can follow along. And once you reach muscular failure, you will take notes of how much time you had, how many seconds it took you to reach muscular failure. So about muscular failure, there's a highlight I want to make here. Remember that for us to grow muscle fibers and to make them stronger, we first need to recruit all the muscle fibers. You know, not only the slow twitch, but also the fast twitch type A and also the fast twitch type B. If you do an exercise with your body weight that is not too intense, you will be working for sure your slow twitch. You may be working your fast twitch type A if it's a bit intense. But if you don't reach the limit, you never work the fast twitch type B. And you only grow those muscles if you recruit those muscle fibers that are also doing the work. So you need to find something that is heavy for you and do them until the moment of fatigue. So when you stop each exercise, you don't stop when you feel you're getting tired. You don't stop when, the leg muscles are burning a little bit. You stop when you are squatting down and you cannot possibly push yourself off the ground. Not because you don't want to, but because the muscles of the leg cannot do this anymore. When this happens, that means that you recruited all types of muscle fibers and all of them got fatigue. So when they get back home, they have scratches on their faces. And now the body needs to provide protein and all the hormonal environment to make them, to recuperate them, but also to adapt those muscle fibers. So now they are stronger and they are bigger. This is our goal. So it's very important that we reach muscular failure or something very close to a muscular failure in each one of those exercises. If you're ready, I will now demonstrate each one of them. You test these exercises and you pick one exercise per movement that will be your list for the strength routine. Thank you for watching. We're gonna put only this video on YouTube, but if you want to have access to all these 7 days, you can just click here. It's for free and it's for you and me to work out together this week. I see you there.